Chapter 1463. There are too many loopholes. Impossible. The Feng family head's eyes turned cold. How could there be so many loopholes in his meticulous plan? If you want to hear it, I'll tell you so that you can die in peace. Firstly, the first loophole was discovered when the coffin was opened. Lu Ming said. There were loopholes in the coffin? Impossible. The one who spoke was not the Feng family head, but Feng Yi. Xu Long, Duan Yang, and Fu Xing were also puzzled. They had examined the coffin carefully and found nothing. There were no wounds on the bodies of the three people, so they could not find any clues. What loophole? Lu Ming, you'd better not talk nonsense. Duan Yang mocked. Shut up. Listen carefully if you're stupid. Lu Ming glanced at Duan Yang coldly and scolded. You, Duan Yang's beautiful face flushed red. Lu Ming actually called her stupid. All right, let's listen to Junior Lu Ming. Xu Long tried to smooth things over again. According to my deduction, the three people who died in the Feng family, the second master and the third master, were really killed. Moreover, the one who killed them was you, right? Lu Ming said. The Feng family head smiled coldly and did not answer directly. However, they are your family after all. You killed them and used them to set up a trap, so you felt guilty. Therefore, when you buried them, you dressed them up meticulously. Therefore, after they were buried, their bodies were neat and tidy. However, although the Feng family head's body was dressed neatly, it was not meticulous. Some parts were a little careless. This explains a lot. If that person is really the Feng family head, why didn't he do it meticulously like the second master and the third master when he was buried? That's impossible. This can only mean that the Feng family head is fake. Therefore, when Feng Yi was buried, he was not as meticulous. Lu Ming explained slowly. Feng Yi's eyes widened. Lu Ming said that in his heart. In fact, that was indeed the case. The patriarch of the Feng family also had a look of surprise in his eyes. He said, "You're so young, but your observation skills are so meticulous. How admirable. Even I didn't expect this. This guy." At the side, Xu Long, Duan Yang, and Fu Xing had to admit that they hadn't thought of this either. There is also the second point. 3 days ago, a black shadow lured me and Zhong Kong out. I guess that you wanted to defeat us one by one, but you are too familiar with the terrain of the Six Void Mountain. Moreover, after you attacked Zhong Kong, you completely disappeared in a few breaths of time. I speculate that there must be a secret passage or something nearby. This makes me think that this person might be someone from the Feng family. Otherwise, how could he be so familiar with the surrounding area? The third point is just now. We clearly set up a formation in Feng Yi's bedroom, but you were able to easily take Feng Yi away from the formation. It's obvious that Feng Yi is in cahoots with you. He's in cahoots with you. Your identity is pretty obvious. Who else could it be apart from the patriarch of the Feng clan? You've set up a trap to lure us here. In other words, you just want to kill us. However, I'm very curious. Why do you want to kill us? We are disciples of the Dragon God Valley. Lu Ming explained in detail before asking his doubts. Trying to kill us? How bold of the Feng clan. In my opinion, the Feng clan shouldn't exist anymore. Duan Yang said coldly. Ha ha ha, so what if you know the truth? So what if you didn't break the formation? Today, you will die. The patriarch of the Feng clan burst out laughing. Bang! Following this, a terrifying aura was emitted from the patriarch of the Feng clan. The aura of the peak 4th layer martial dominator realm. Your cultivation, why is it only the peak 4th layer martial dominator realm? Xu Long, Duan Yang, and Fu Xing were astounded. According to the information, the patriarch of the Feng clan was only a 3rd layer martial royal realm cultivator from a small clan. His battle prowess could not be compared to the disciples of the divine Dragon Valley. Therefore, they did not take him seriously at first. However, the aura that the patriarch of the Feng clan was emitting was the peak 4th layer martial dominator realm. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. At this moment, figures flashed in the forest. 8 figures appeared and surrounded Lu Ming and the rest. They were 8 old men. Their auras had all reached the 3rd layer martial dominator realm. So many third-layer martial dominators, how is this possible? Duan Yang exclaimed. According to the records, the patriarch of the Feng clan had the highest cultivation in the Feng clan, who was at the third-layer martial dominator realm. The other elders were usually at the second-layer martial dominator realm. The Feng clan was not one of the top sects in the Kang continent like the Dragon God Valley. The Feng clan was only a small clan in the Six Void Mountain. The number of experts they had was not comparable to the Dragon God Valley. In the Dragon God Valley, there were many martial dominator realm experts. Even those with a cultivation of the fourth-layer martial dominator realm and above could be easily found. However, a small clan like the Feng clan did not have that many martial dominators. However, 8 third-layer martial dominators had appeared at the same time, which did not match the records. Xu Long, Duan Yang, and Fu Xing's faces darkened. Today, you will all die. The patriarch of the Feng clan wore a cold expression with a murderous intent. A powerful aura encapsulated Lu Ming and his crew. Kill. The patriarch of the Feng clan uttered a roar and charged at the four. I'll deal with him. Xu Long roared as a peak third-layer martial dominator realm aura burst out from his body. His domain was unleashed as he charged at the patriarch of the Feng clan. Dong. The two exchanged blows. Xu Long's figure was knocked backward, but he managed to resist the attack. At that instant, the 8 old men of the Feng clan made their moves too, charging at Fu Xing and Duan Yang. As for Lu Ming, a mere first-layer martial dominator realm cultivator was not a threat to them. The place was immersed in a chaotic battle. Xu Long and the patriarch of the Feng clan were engaged in a fierce battle. Without a doubt, the disciples of the Dragon God Valley were stronger than the disciples of the small clans. Duan Yang and Fu Xing were able to resist the attacks of the 8 old men for the time being, although they were at a disadvantage. On the other hand, Xu Long was at a disadvantage facing the patriarch of the Feng clan. After all, Xu Long's cultivation was 1 layer lower than the patriarch of the Feng clan. Xu Long was not a peerless genius who could defeat those with higher cultivation. Therefore, despite his outstanding strength, he was still suppressed by the patriarch of the Feng clan. Die. The patriarch of the Feng clan was engulfed in a black glow as he charged at Xu Long. Puff. Xu Long spat out a mouthful of blood. Hehe, kid, you're dead for sure this time. You're only a first-layer martial dominator realm cultivator. Let me deal with you. Feng Yi appeared behind Lu Ming. His aura was locked onto Lu Ming's figure. Peak second-layer martial dominator realm, is that so? Lu Ming let out a calm smile. Kill. At that instant, Xu Long uttered a roar as his aura skyrocketed. Chapter 1464. At that instant, Xu Long suddenly unleashed his aura of the fourth-layer martial dominator realm. Even though his cultivation was only at the early stage of the fourth-layer martial dominator realm, his outstanding strength allowed him to be on par with the patriarch of the Feng clan. Concealing his cultivation? Lu Ming's eyes flickered. Xu Long had been concealing his cultivation, but he had no choice but to reveal it now. The people of the Feng clan were startled by Xu Long's sudden outburst. Feng Yi's eyes flickered coldly as he said, "Kid, I'll kill you first before dealing with the others." Die. Feng Yi's claw was pitch black as it grabbed at Lu Ming. Bang! Lu Ming immediately lashed out a punch at Feng Yi's claw. Following a crack, Feng Yi's claw became twisted as its bones were shattered into pieces by Lu Ming's punch. Feng Yi let out a cry of agony. Bang! Lu Ming lashed out another punch at Feng Yi's dantian. A terrifying force exploded, destroying Feng Yi's dantian instantly. Feng Yi's figure was sent flying a few hundred meters like a kite with its string cut. He crashed into a small hill and stopped breathing. Even though Feng Yi's cultivation was at the peak of the second-layer martial dominator realm, his strength was still weaker than the disciples of the Dragon God Valley, not to mention He Yu, Wang Xiao, and the other geniuses. He stood no chance against Lu Ming. Yeah! The patriarch of the Feng clan let out a roar as a ferocious murderous intent burst out from his body. Kill that brat! The patriarch of the Feng clan yelled. Kid, die! An old man who was initially attacking Duan Yang and Fu Xing lunged at Lu Ming. A palm print that was as black as ink, with a fishy smell, blasted toward Lu Ming. Kill! Lu Ming's eyes flickered as his figure was encapsulated with the chaotic domain. He executed the hell-suppressing heaven art and lashed out a punch. The force of the punch swept through the air, causing the foul stench to dissipate. Bang! The fist collided with the palm, resulting in a shocking shockwave. Following this, the old man let out a groan as his figure was sent flying by Lu Ming. His figure flew into the air with blood leaking out from his mouth. Whoosh! Lu Ming's figure flashed as he charged at the other party. He punched out with both fists, and dozens of fist energies drowned out the other party. The other party roared and tried his best to resist, but under Lu Ming's storm-like fists, he was unable to withstand a single blow. When the fist energy dissipated, the old man was also smashed into pieces. A third-layer martial royal realm expert was instantly killed by Lu Ming, which greatly shocked everyone present. This Lu Ming is really that strong. A light flickered in Duan Yang and Fu Xing's eyes. No one knew what they were thinking. Junior brother Lu Ming, come and help me kill this person. At this moment, Xu Long roared. All right. Lu Ming nodded, and with a flicker of his body, he rushed towards the battlefield between Xu Long and the Feng family patriarch. Boom! Lin Fan threw out a punch, and the air buzzed. The terrifying fist energy flew towards the head of the Feng family. After exchanging a blow with Lu Ming, the Feng family patriarch's body shuddered and was knocked a step back. First layer martial royal realm, how could he be so strong? He must be a peerless genius of the Dragon God Valley. The Feng family patriarch's eyes flickered with astonishment. Kill. Xu Long also launched a fierce attack. Under the joint attack of Lu Ming and Xu Long, the Feng family patriarch was at a disadvantage. Ding-ling-ling. At that instant, a black bell floated above the Feng family patriarch's head, emitting a tinkling sound. An invisible ripple spread out from the bell, and Lu Ming could feel his spiritual deity shuddering as it was attacked by an invisible force. The tinkling sound of the bell was able to attack the spiritual deity. To be precise, it was attacking the soul of the spiritual deity. However, Lu Ming's soul was extremely powerful. Moreover, the spirit deity was wearing a jade armor. At this moment, the jade armor was emitting a layer of light that enveloped the spirit deity. Lu Ming's spirit deity merely trembled a little and was fine. On the other hand, Xu Long's face turned pale as his body shuddered. Kill, kill. The Feng family patriarch took hold of the opportunity and launched a fierce attack at Lu Ming and Xu Long. Lu Ming threw out 2 punches to block the attack, but Xu Long's body shuddered violently as a trail of blood leaked out from the corner of his mouth. Junior brother Lu Ming, hold him off for now. I'll help junior sister Duan Yang and the others kill those people, and then I'll help you. At that instant, Xu Long yelled and backed off, leaving the Feng family patriarch to Lu Ming alone, exposing Lu Ming to the attacks of the Feng family patriarch. Haha, it seems like the disciples of the Dragon God Valley are also scheming against each other. You shall die first. The Feng family patriarch laughed coldly as the bell above his head continued to tinkle, emitting an invisible ripple that surged toward Lu Ming. At the same time, his pitch-black palm emitted a disgusting stench as he hurled it at Lu Ming. Lu Ming's eyes flickered coldly, but he did not say anything. He unleashed his true force and fought against the Feng family patriarch. In the blink of an eye, Lu Ming had exchanged over 10 blows with the Feng family patriarch. Damn it, why is my soul-shaking bell useless against this kid? Besides, his strength is too powerful. The Feng family patriarch was even more shocked as the battle continued. No matter what he did, he could not defeat Lu Ming. Lu Ming was like a boulder in the middle of an ocean, standing firm. On the other hand, Xu Long charged toward Duan Yang and the others. With his cultivation of the 4th-layer martial dominator realm and his outstanding strength, he had gained the upper hand. In just a short while, he had slain 3 old men in a row, turning the tide of the battle. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. The sword in Xu Long's hand danced like a dragon, emitting a shocking sword intent. Duan Yang and Fu Xing cooperated with Xu Long and attacked the remaining 4 old men like a storm. Puff! Another old man was slashed in half by Xu Long's sword. The remaining 3 old men were no match for Xu Long and the others. Let's go. The remaining 3 wanted to escape, but Xu Long and the others each took one of them and tied them down. Not long after, the old man who was fighting against Shu Long was slain too. The remaining 2 old men were killed by Shu Long one after the other. The Feng family patriarch was the only one left at the scene. Damn it, how could this be? The Feng family patriarch yelled furiously. The strength of the people from the Dragon God Valley had exceeded his expectations. Based on the difficulty of the mission he had requested from the Dragon God Valley, it was unlikely that they would send a 4th-layer martial dominator realm disciple. However, to his surprise, Shu Long had concealed his cultivation. His actual cultivation was at the 4th-layer martial dominator realm. On the other hand, Lu Ming's strength was even more shocking. His cultivation of the 1st-layer martial dominator realm was able to resist him. Besides, Lu Ming had seen through his plan. Lu Ming and the others did not enter the formation, which led to the current situation. Damn it, screw it. The Feng family patriarch's eyes flickered viciously as he spat out a mouthful of blood onto the bell on his head, causing it to emit a crimson glow. The bell chimed continuously as its power grew stronger. Waves of invisible forces surged toward Lu Ming, attacking his spirit deity. However, they were all blocked by the jade armor. Meanwhile, Shu Long, Duan Yang, and Fu Xing stood aside, but they did not lend Lu Ming a hand. Senior brother Shu Long, please lend me a hand. Let's kill this man together. Chapter 1465. However, Shu Long was unfazed. A cold sneer appeared on his face as he said, "Junior brother Lu Ming, you've just entered the Divine Dragon Valley. Although you're talented, you're still lacking in battle experience. We'll leave the Feng family's patriarch to you. We'll support you." There's indeed something fishy. Lu Ming's heart skipped a beat as a cold light flickered in his eyes. He initially thought that there was something fishy about Duan Yang and Fu Xing, but now it seemed like there was something fishy about Shu Long as well. In the beginning, Shu Long had hidden his cultivation level and harbored ulterior motives. Now, he wanted Lu Ming to deal with the head of the Feng family alone. He was obviously trying to use the head of the Feng family to deal with Lu Ming. The Feng family's patriarch naturally saw the problem between Lu Ming and the others. He took the opportunity to launch a flurry of attacks at Lu Ming. He still had a chance to kill Lu Ming. "Senior brothers, I can't hold on for much longer," Lu Ming shouted as he exchanged a palm strike with the Feng family's patriarch. He intentionally retreated toward Shu Long and the others. Ding ling ling, the Feng family's patriarch chased after Lu Ming. The soul-buster bell vibrated and an invisible fluctuation enveloped Shu Long and the others. Damn it! Shu Long and the others cursed in their hearts, but they had no choice but to defend themselves. "Senior brothers, thank you for your help," Lu Ming sneered, causing Shu Long and the others' faces to turn ashen. Ding ling ling, the soul-buster bells ringing made Shu Long and the others pale. It was obvious that the spirit god had suffered heavy injuries. "Senior brother Shu Long, we have to take him down as soon as possible," Duan Yang said. If this continued, their souls would suffer heavy injuries. Injuries to the physical body were easy to heal, but injuries to the soul were difficult to heal. The spiritual herbs that could heal the soul were shockingly expensive. "Go all out," Shu Long said. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. A dazzling sword ray shot out from Shu Long's hand, attacking the Feng family's patriarch. Duan Yang and Fu Xing cooperated with Shu Long. And at this time, Lu Ming deliberately wandered around the Feng family patriarch's side, occasionally launching an attack. "Junior brother Lu Ming, what are you doing? Why aren't you attacking with all your might and taking him down?" Shu Long shouted. "That won't do. I was fighting alone just now and my vitality was greatly damaged. I'm exhausted and I need to recover slowly." Lu Ming spouted nonsense. Shu Long's expression was ugly. He knew that Lu Ming was taking revenge on them for not making a move earlier. If Lu Ming didn't do anything, Shu Long and the other two wouldn't be able to take down the Feng family patriarch. As time passed, their faces became paler and paler. It was obvious that their souls had suffered significant damage. This kind of soul injury would take at least a few years of recuperation. Damn it! Shu Long, Duan Yang, and Fu Xing roared in their hearts. It was all Lu Ming's fault. If Lu Ming cooperated with them and went all out, With Lu Ming's battle prowess, he would have taken down the Feng family's patriarch long ago. How could their souls be injured? In the blink of an eye, dozens of moves had passed. It's about time. Lu Ming's lips curved into a smile. The black feather wings suddenly appeared behind him, slashing horizontally. Peng! The black feather wings was a saint artifact. How could the Feng family patriarch block it? The black feather wings sent him flying, crashing to the ground and vomiting blood. Swish! In a flicker, Lu Ming appeared in front of the Feng family patriarch. He slapped 9 times on the Feng family patriarch's body, sealing the Feng family patriarch's true essence. The Feng family patriarch slumped weakly to the ground. Saint artifact. Xu Long, Duan Yang, and Fu Xing's eyes were filled with dread. Lu Ming, since you have a saint artifact, why didn't you use it earlier? Duan Yang glared hatefully at Lu Ming as she shouted. You think I can use a saint artifact whenever I want to? It consumes a lot of true essence. Just now, I was fighting against the Feng family patriarch and exhausted a lot of my true essence. I just recovered a little bit, Lu Ming casually explained. But Lu Ming's eyes were bright and his breathing was steady. How could there be a lack of true essence? He was obviously lying. But they did not help Lu Ming just now. Thus, they couldn't refute Lu Ming's words. A cold light flickered in the depths of Xu Long's eyes, followed by a faint smile. I believe that junior brother Lu Ming has used his full strength. Now that the Feng family patriarch has been captured, let's ask him why he wants to kill us. The few of them walked to the front of the Feng family patriarch. Old man, speak, why do you want to kill us? If you don't tell the truth, I'll peel your skin and pull out your tendons. I'll make you beg for death. Duan Yang spoke viciously, her eyes were filled with resentment. Her soul was injured by the Feng family patriarch, and it would take a few years for her to recover. She really wanted to peel his skin and pull out his tendons. Ari, I set everything up and lost everything. I'll speak, I'll tell you everything. The Feng family patriarch sighed, looking somewhat down and out. All of this started from an ancient ruin that I accidentally discovered. The Feng family patriarch sighed again. An ancient ruin? The eyes of Xu Long, Duan Yang, and the others flickered. Normally, when it came to ancient ruins, there was a great chance that some treasure would appear, which was a great fortunate encounter for them. That's right. When I was in Six Void Mountain, I accidentally entered an ancient cave abode and obtained a cultivation method from it. It requires the blood and soul of others to cultivate, and my cultivation can advance by leaps and bounds. The Feng family patriarch said. No wonder your cultivation is different from the records. You've reached the 4th layer martial dominator realm, Xu Long said. It was obvious that he believed the story. That's right, I've indeed practiced that martial art. Furthermore, according to the records, the younger the genius, the more useful their blood and soul would be, allowing their cultivation to improve at a faster rate. The Feng family patriarch said. Therefore, you set up a trap to lure the disciples of the Dragon God Valley to kill you and use their blood and soul to improve your cultivation, Xu Long said. That's right. The Feng family patriarch nodded. How bold of you, aren't you afraid that your whole clan will be wiped out? Duan Yang snapped. Ha ha ha, if my plan worked, my cultivation would improve greatly after killing you all. By then, I would have taken all the treasures in the ancient ruins and left the Kang continent. The Yuanlu is so vast, how could the Dragon God Valley find us? What a pity, I was defeated by a 1st layer martial dominator realm kid. The Feng family patriarch burst out laughing. You're saying that there are treasures in the ancient ruins? Duan Yang grasped the Feng family patriarch's words and her eyes flickered with greed. Xu Long and Fu Xing reacted the same way. That's right. The Feng family patriarch nodded. Quick, bring us there. Duan Yang said anxiously. No, unless you promise to let me go, I won't bring you there. Without me, you won't be able to find the 6 Void Mountain, the Feng family patriarch said. Humph, if you don't, I'll kill you now. Duan Yang's eyes flickered coldly as a murderous intent encapsulated the Feng family patriarch's figure. Clang. Xu Long pointed his sword at the Feng family patriarch's neck and said, Bring us there, or you'll die now. If there's really an ancient ruin, I promise to let you go. You'll really let me go, unless you discover the blood oath. The Feng family patriarch said. Swoosh. Shu Long's sword vibrated and a ray of sword chi shot out, slicing off one of the Feng family patriarch's ears. Nonsense, I'll do what I say. If you don't take it seriously, you'll die now. Chapter 1466. In the end, the Feng family patriarch had no choice but to nod and agree to bring Shu Long's group to the ancient ruins. Let's go, you point the way. Shu Long lifted the Feng family patriarch and said. To the east. The Feng family patriarch pointed out the direction. Lu Ming's group rose into the air and flew in the direction the Feng family patriarch pointed. They flew all the way to the depths of the Six Void Mountain, flying a distance of more than 100,000 miles. Finally, they landed in a remote canyon. They arrived in front of a cave in the depths of the canyon. This cave was indeed very hidden. If one had to search slowly, it would not be easy to find it. This ancient ruin is an ancient cave dwelling. It's very big inside. I estimate that it's the place of seclusion of a peerless expert. The Feng family patriarch said. Greed flashed in Shu Long's eyes, saying, You better be telling the truth. Otherwise, you know the consequences. Every word I say is true. That bell of mine was obtained from this cave dwelling. The Feng family patriarch said. These words made Shu Long, Duan Yang, Fu Xing, and the rest believe him even more. That bell was indeed incomparably mysterious. It could injure one's soul. This kind of treasure was very difficult to buy in the outside world. Shu Long took it without any courtesy on the way, not asking Lu Ming, the person who defeated the Feng family patriarch. Lu Ming did not say a word along the way, only following the group. If you're worried, I can lead the way in first. Anyway, my cultivation is sealed, there's no way I can escape. The Feng family patriarch said again. All right, you lead the way. Shu Long put down the Feng family patriarch. The Feng family patriarch immediately strode into the cave. Shu Long, Duan Yang, and Fu Xing hurriedly followed, as if afraid that the treasures inside would be taken away by others. Lu Ming walked at the back and followed in. Walking into the cave, there was a narrow passage. After going all the way in, about a few hundred meters later, they saw a faint light. Walking through the passage, the front suddenly opened up. It was a huge underground cave. On the surrounding walls, there were gems emitting a faint light. Arriving here, the Feng family patriarch's face revealed a sinister smile. He suddenly strode forward and knelt down. This subordinate greets elder demon soul. The Feng family patriarch kowtowed to a figure. A human figure. Lu Ming and the others were shocked. Only then did they realize that there was a figure sitting cross-legged in the middle of the underground cavern. It was an old man. He looked very, very old. There were only a few strands of white hair left on his head. The skin on his face was shriveled and wrinkles piled up like mountains. His entire body seemed to be devoid of flesh and blood. He looked like a skeleton sitting there. However, those eyes were eerily black as they stared at Lu Ming and the others, revealing a deep desire. There was actually someone else in the ancient cave dwelling. It was an old man who looked like a skeleton. Hey, you did well. The skeleton-like old man let out an ear-piercing and unpleasant laugh. Thank you for your praise, elder. This is what I should do, the head of the Feng family said with a flattering expression. What happened? Lu Ming and the others slowly retreated. Duan Yang shouted loudly. We've been tricked. Lu Ming said in a deep voice. A trap. Duan Yang was stunned. Feng family patriarch, his purpose is probably to bring us here. He told us to go around him before he brought us here. It was all an act. Lu Ming said. Ha ha ha, brat, you really are smart. That's right, I was faking it. My goal was to bring you here and sacrifice you to Elder Devil Soul. If I could capture you and bring you here, that would be even better. If I couldn't capture you, then I could trick you here. The head of the Feng family laughed. It was fake. The ancient ruins were all fake. The head of the Feng family's purpose was to bring them here. Look over there. Duan Yang suddenly pointed behind the skeleton-like old man and said with a trembling voice. Lu Ming and the others looked over and were shocked. There was a pile of bones there. No, to be precise, it was a pile of dried corpses. It was just like after being devoured by Lu Ming's devouring power. This person wants to use us to recover, Duan Yang said with a trembling voice. At this point, how could they not guess the old man's purpose? They would be idiots if they didn't. It was obvious that this old man was injured and wanted to use them to recover. Who are you? We are disciples of the Dragon God Valley. If you kill us, the experts of the Dragon God Valley will not let you go, Duan Yang shouted. Dragon God Valley? 80,000 years ago, this old man killed countless of them. The skeleton-like old man sneered. His words made Shu Long and the others feel like they had fallen into an ice cellar. 80,000 years ago, this old man had lived for at least 80,000 years. It was impossible for a martial emperor to live that long. In other words, this old man was a true Saint Realm expert. They actually ran into a true Saint Realm expert. Run. Duan Yang and Fu Xing turned around and ran. Die. Die. The skeleton-like old man bellowed. Then, a shocking scene appeared. Duan Yang and Fu Xing's bodies stiffened abruptly, stopping in midair. Then, both of them fell limply to the ground, no longer showing any signs of life. Both of them died after being bellowed by the skeleton-like old man. They didn't even see how the old man attacked. Duan Yang and Fu Xing didn't even have any injuries on their bodies. Shu Long's body trembled violently, cold sweat trickled down his back. Boom. At this time, a vast aura burst out from the skeleton-like old man's body. This aura was as deep as the sea, as if it was a world, as if it was the law of heaven and earth. True Saint Realm, the aura of a true Saint Realm expert. Plop. Shu Long fell to his knees, kowtowing repeatedly as he begged, Senior, please spare my life. As long as Senior spares this wretched life of mine, this junior will go through water and tread on fire, become an ox or a horse, to repay Senior's kindness. Even Lu Ming was speechless. This Shu Long was scared out of his wits after the skeleton-like old man released his aura, kneeling down and begging for mercy, without any dignity of a cultivator. Hehe, if you want me to spare you, that's fine too. Relax your mind, I will engrave a restriction on your soul. You will obey my every command in the future, and I can spare you. The skeleton-like old man's aura quickly withdrew, and his shriveled voice continued to ring out. Shu Long's face was completely pale, and his eyes were filled with unwillingness. If the old man engraved a restriction on his soul, then he would have to obey the old man for the rest of his life and become his slave. But if he didn't agree, the old man was a true Saint Realm expert. Didn't he see how Duan Yang and Fu Xing died with just a shout? What? You still need to hesitate? Let me tell you, I am an elder of the evil spirit sect. It is your great fortune to join my evil spirit sect. The skeleton-like old man sneered. What? You are an elder of the evil spirit sect. Chapter 1467. Shu Long's face was filled with fear when he heard the skeletal old man's words. At this moment, he kowtowed without any hesitation and said loudly, This junior is willing to submit to Senior and the evil spirit sect. Evil spirit sect. Lu Ming frowned slightly. He had never heard of this faction, but why was Shu Long so terrified when he heard this name? Shu Long's fear came from the depths of his heart. It was not an act. This meant that Shu Long was truly terrified when he heard the name Evil Spirit Sect. Lu Ming guessed that the Evil Spirit Sect might be a great sect outside the Kang province. Hehe, at least you know what's good for you. Relax your mind. The skeletal old man smiled coldly. A wisp of black light spread out from between his brows and shot into Shu Kong's body, disappearing without a trace. Shu Long immediately revealed a respectful expression towards the skeletal old man and said, This subordinate, Shu Long, will definitely not hesitate to die for elder in the future. Kid, what about you? Relax your mind and submit to this old man. As long as you help this old man deceive more people, this old man will definitely reward you handsomely in the future. The skeletal old man said. He's willing to be your lackey, but I'm not interested. Lu Ming said calmly. What did you say? Kid, you're courting death. The skeletal old man shouted coldly. Hehe, you don't have to scare me. In my opinion, you don't have much strength now, do you? Lu Ming stared at the skeletal old man and said. The skeletal old man's expression changed slightly. Kid, this old man is indeed injured, but this old man can easily deal with a mere martial emperor. Is that so? In my opinion, it's more like a fox borrowing the tiger's might. When we first came in, you killed Duan Yang and Shu Long with a loud shout. That method should have directly destroyed their souls. Then, you deliberately released the aura of a saint stage cultivator to intimidate us. But if you really have the strength of a saint stage cultivator, why do you need to do this? You released your saint realm aura too deliberately. Moreover, you needed the Feng family's patriarch to lure us here. In my opinion, you shouldn't use that kind of method too much. Otherwise, your injuries will worsen. Also, you can't leave this place. You'll worsen your injuries. Am I right? Lu Ming slowly retreated as he explained. The skeletal old man's expression changed. Shu Long's expression also changed. Damn it, this Lu Ming knew so much. Why didn't he say it earlier? Shu Long roared in his heart. If Lu Ming had said so earlier, he would not have sought refuge with the skeletal elder. He might have been able to escape if he had risked his life. Little guy, you're very careful, but you still have to die. Shu Long, kill him for me, the skeletal old man instructed. Shu Long's expression changed. He had no confidence in dealing with Lu Ming. Elder, although this person's cultivation is weak, but... Kill him for me, kill him, kill. The skeletal old man shouted coldly. Shu Long screamed as if he was in endless pain. Elder, please spare my life. I will kill him now. Kill him. The skeletal old man said. Lu Ming, go to hell. At the next moment, Shu Long pounced on Lu Ming with a ferocious look in his eyes. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. A terrifying sword light was released from Shu Long's long sword, aiming at Lu Ming's vital points. Bang, bang, bang. Lu Ming threw a few punches and broke Shu Long's sword light. Lu Ming, what's the use of resisting? You are destined to die. Even if you escape back to the Divine Dragon Valley, Yin Feng will not let you off. Shu Long roared. You are indeed sent by Yin Feng. Lu Ming's eyes were cold. This Shu Long had hidden his cultivation level previously. When Lu Ming was fighting with the Feng family's head, he stood at the side and watched, wanting to kill with a borrowed knife. Lu Ming had been suspicious. Now it seemed that it was true. Originally, I wanted to find an opportunity to kill you while you were unprepared. Haha, but it's the same to kill you now. Shu Long seemed to have gone crazy as he launched a torrential attack on Lu Ming. He had already surrendered to the evil spirit sect's elders. This matter must not be spread out. Otherwise, he would definitely die. Therefore, Lu Ming must die. Kill. At this moment, Lu Ming's third bloodline appeared, and a wave of energy surged into Lu Ming's body. Then, the chaotic domain erupted as he executed the hell-suppressing heaven art and punched at Shu Long. Boom. This punch directly pierced through all of Shu Long's defenses. The terrifying fist force bombarded Shu Long's chest. Half of Shu Long's body exploded and was sent flying into the distance. Apart from a few trump cards, this punch was almost Lu Ming's full strength. It was enough to kill a fourth-layer martial emperor expert. Shu Long could not resist at all. After killing Shu Long with a single move, Lu Ming's black wings appeared. With a flap, his figure rushed toward the entrance of the passage. Chaotic domain, it's actually the chaotic domain. I didn't expect a genius to comprehend the chaotic domain in the small Kang continent. Kill, I must kill him. Shocking murderous intent flashed in the skeletal old man's eyes. Wisps of black light appeared between his eyebrows. Kill. The skeletal old man suddenly roared. A black ray instantly tore through the void and appeared behind Lu Ming, shooting toward Lu Ming. Its speed was unbelievably fast, as if it had teleported. Lu Ming was shocked. He wanted to dodge, but it was too late. This ray of light directly penetrated the chaotic domain and shot into Lu Ming's body, rushing toward the spirit god. Dang! The ray of light landed on the spirit god. The jade armor on the spirit god emitted a brilliant glow, forming a barrier that blocked the black ray of light. Lu Ming's body shuddered slightly, before he continued to rush toward the exit. A defensive artifact for the spirit god, such a rare artifact. Damn it, I can't let him escape. The skeletal old man let out a deep roar as his body emitted a cracking sound. It floated in the air like a skeleton that had been sitting there for tens of thousands of years. Elder, remove the seal on my cultivation. I'll help you to hunt down that kid. The patriarch of the Feng clan yelled. There's no point in keeping a piece of trash like you alive. Die. The skeletal old man's eyes flickered coldly as he opened his mouth and inhaled. A layer of black light encapsulated the patriarch of the Feng clan, who let out a cry of agony as his body shriveled at a speed visible to the naked eye, turning into a dried corpse. Xu Long's, Duan Yang's, and Fu Xing's corpses also turned into dried corpses. The essence of their flesh and blood had been devoured by the old man. At that instant, his skin began to emit a faint glow. Kill. With a low roar, he turned into a ray of black light and rushed out of the cave, chasing after Lu Ming. Lu Ming flew out of the cave. The wind-settling bead's energy flowed into him. He executed the wind origin spell and the black feather wings to fly away. However, he didn't fly far before a shocking sound of breaking wind came from behind him. A ray of black light was flying toward him at an extremely fast speed. This old man actually wants to kill me regardless of his injuries. Chapter 1468. Lu Ming spread his black wings, which were more than 10 meters wide. With a flap, Lu Ming turned into a black bolt of lightning. He tore through the void and traveled 100 miles in an instant. This was the Yuan continent. This speed was extremely shocking. However, Lu Ming realized that the black light behind him was even faster and was slowly approaching him. Air-frozen pearl. Lu Ming increased the energy of the air-frozen pearl and his speed suddenly increased. He was barely able to keep up with the speed of the old man behind him. The two of them chased and fled. In the blink of an eye, they had left the Six Void Mountain and were heading into the distance. The chase lasted for half a day. This brat, his speed is actually so fast. But if you want to maintain this speed, let's see how long you can last. Behind him, the skeletal old man sneered. True enough, at this moment, Lu Ming gradually slowed down. To maintain this speed and fly at full speed consumed too much true qi. Continuously using the wind origin skill and controlling the black wings consumed a lot of true qi. Now, Lu Ming's true qi was running out. The skeletal old man and Lu Ming were getting closer and closer. Kid, even if I was severely injured 80,000 years ago and have yet to recover, it's still a piece of cake for me to deal with a puny first-layer martial royal like you. The skeletal old man's voice was unusually cold. Old man, do you really think you can catch up with me? Lu Ming's voice was still calm. Is that so? I'd like to see what other tricks you have. The skeletal old man sneered. Whoosh. Suddenly, a passage appeared in front of Lu Ming. Lu Ming stepped into it. In the next moment, Lu Ming appeared thousands of miles away. Space-time territory. This is the space-time territory. The skeletal old man screamed in shock. That's right. Lu Ming had asked Bubble to help him open up the space-time territory. He appeared thousands of miles away in an instant and distanced himself from the skeletal old man. After distancing himself, Lu Ming waved his hand and a large pile of origin stones appeared in the air. Lu Ming's palm erupted with a powerful devouring power and devoured the origin stones. He then continued to fly while refining the origin stones to replenish his true qi. Don't even think about escaping. The skeletal old man roared, his sunken eye sockets flashing with raging flames. The two of them continued their chase. When the distance between the skeletal old man and Lu Ming narrowed, Lu Ming asked Bubble to help him open a space-time channel. The distance between the two of them increased once more. This happened several times. The skeletal old man flew into a rage, but he still couldn't catch up to Lu Ming. No, I can't let this continue. I'm heavily injured, and if this continues, it'll be detrimental to my recovery. I have to quickly take down this person. Moreover, This person actually has the help of the space-time spirit mouse. Didn't the space-time spirit mouse die in battle? Why did it appear again? Let's take advantage of the fact that the space-time spirit rat is still not strong enough to kill it. The skeletal old man's eyes flashed, and in the end, he gritted his teeth and steeled his heart. Break! The skeletal old man roared. Then, a ray of light split from his body and entered the space. It flashed and disappeared. However, the skeletal old man's aura had weakened a little. In front of him, Lu Ming was flying. Suddenly, the space in front of him fluctuated. A black light flashed, and a figure appeared. Lu Ming's pupils shrank, and his body stopped abruptly. It was the skeletal old man. The skeletal old man actually appeared in front of Lu Ming. Boom! The skeletal old man emitted a powerful aura, locking onto Lu Ming. "Kid, let's see where you can run to now." The skeletal old man sneered. Swoosh! Behind him, there was the sound of something breaking through the air. A black light flashed, and another skeletal old man appeared behind Lu Ming. Two black-robed old men surrounded Lu Ming. At this time, Lu Ming realized that the skeletal old man didn't have a lower body. Only his upper body was left. The skeletal old man was wearing a large black robe. He didn't notice it at all when he was in the cave. "Kid, you're really not simple. You've comprehended the primal chaos domain and have a space-time spirit mouse as your companion. A person like you can't be allowed to grow. Today, die." The skeletal old man sneered. A black light suddenly shot out from between his eyebrows. The black light was like a divine sword, shooting towards Lu Ming at an incredible speed. With a thought, Lu Ming's primal chaos domain spread out and blocked in front of Lu Ming. Kai. The black light shot into the primal chaos domain and made a kai-kai sound. But in the end, the primal chaos domain weakened a part of its power. The remaining part shot into Lu Ming's body and rushed towards the spirit god. Dong. The black light struck the jade armor on the spiritual deity, causing it to vibrate. In the end, the jade armor blocked the black light, but a small part of its power still passed through the armor and hit the soul. Lu Ming felt his soul tremble and a numbing itch came from it. What a strange attack. It directly attacks the soul. Fortunately, I have the jade armor and my soul force is extremely powerful. That's why I can block it. Lu Ming had many thoughts in his mind. Kid, not only do you have a spirit god defensive treasure, but your soul force is also extremely powerful. Then you deserve to die. When the skeletal old man saw that his attack couldn't do anything to Lu Ming, the killing intent in his eyes became even stronger. Old man, you were seriously injured tens of thousands of years ago. You've been struggling at death's door for tens of thousands of years. You don't have much strength left. Why don't you find a place to heal? You're courting death. Dandan, who was on Lu Ming's other shoulder, shouted. Hehe, even if this old man is seriously injured and has less than 100% of his strength left, killing you is more than enough. The old man sneered. His body emitted a layer of black light. His body began to become illusory, and the black light became brighter and brighter. Lu Ming's eyes were solemn as he focused 120% of his attention. Although the old man had been seriously injured a long time ago, he was still a genuine Saint Realm expert. No Saint Realm expert could be underestimated. Roar. The old man's body became more and more illusory. Finally, he turned into a huge pitch-black Grim Reaper, holding a Grim Reaper scythe. Lu Ming's pupils shrank. He thought of the underworld child of the divine wilderness continent. The underworld child's bloodline was a Grim Reaper that could harm the soul. Die. The Grim Reaper scythe slashed at Lu Ming. In front of him, the skeletal old man sneered. His eyes were filled with raging flames. Two black divine swords shot out from his eyes, stabbing at Lu Ming. Lightning, flame. Lu Ming shouted. The primal chaos domain turned into a sky full of lightning, forming a lightning domain. At the same time, the lightning domain burned with raging flames. The primal chaos domain could transform into tens of thousands of domains, except for some equally terrifying domains that could not be transformed. Lu Ming guessed that lightning and fire should be able to restrain the skeletal old man according to his cultivation technique. Sizzle, The Grim Reaper scythe and the two black divine swords bombarded the lightning and fire domains, producing sizzling sounds. At the same time, black smoke rose. It worked. Lu Ming's eyes lit up. Break for me. Chapter 1469. Whoosh. Both the Death God scythe and the black divine sword became more powerful. They broke through Lu Ming's lightning fire domain and slashed toward Lu Ming. Chirp chirp. Bubble waved its claws and set up a spacetime defense around Lu Ming. Although the skeletal old man's attack was mysterious, it was blocked by the spacetime defense and its power was weakened. Then, it went through the defense of the black feather wings and hit the spiritual deity. Dong. The jade armor shook violently. The powerful force went through the jade armor and hit Lu Ming's soul. Lu Ming's face changed and he was forced to retreat. The old man's attack was indeed terrifying. Even though Lu Ming had the jade armor and his soul was dozens of times stronger than an ordinary person, he still felt a tearing pain. If it was an ordinary person, even with the jade armor, their soul would have been destroyed. Still not dead. Lu Ming was shocked, but he did not know that the skeletal old man was even more shocked. The old man's soul attack could even destroy the soul of a LV7 Marshal Royal. However, Lu Ming, who was only a LV1 Marshal Royal, had blocked it. This was an attack that the old man had launched regardless of his injuries. It was very harmful to his severely injured body. Kill. I must kill him. Otherwise, if he spreads the news that I am still alive, it will be troublesome. The skeletal old man shouted in his heart. He ignored his injuries and launched another attack. The Death God scythe slashed down again. The skeletal old man in front of him threw out a huge palm print toward Lu Ming. This time, not only did he launch a soul attack, but he also launched an ordinary attack. Leave this to me. Dandan flew out and opened its mouth. An illusory world flew out and attacked the huge palm print. At the same time, Bubble attacked and many terrifying spacetime blades slashed toward the old man. If you want to fight, let's fight to the death. Lu Ming's eyes flashed fiercely. He did not care about the Death God scythe behind him. He flapped his wings and charged forward. He wanted to counterattack. His glabella shone and a shield appeared in front of him. It became as big as a mountain. Boom. The illusory world that Dandan spat out bore the brunt of the attack and collided with the gigantic palm print. The illusory world collapsed under the impact of the gigantic palm print. Thereafter, it faced the gigantic shield that Lu Ming had summoned. Dong. This shield was a saint weapon, indestructible. The palm print slammed into the shield, causing it to tremble and be sent flying. However, the palm print also disappeared. The palm print was neutralized. Bubble's spacetime blade continued to slash at her opponent. Lu Ming's eyes brightened. It seemed his opponent was truly weak to the extreme. Other than his soul attacks being a bit powerful, his ordinary attacks weren't strong at all. Kill. Lu Ming roared and punched with both fists. More than a dozen fists blasted towards the skeletal old man along with Bubble's spacetime blade. The skeletal old man's expression changed. His entire body was covered in a pitch-black light, and he continuously sent out palm prints. Boom, boom, boom. A violent explosion sounded. After a terrifying collision, the skeletal old man's body floated back. At the same time, the Death God scythe also slashed Lu Ming, causing Lu Ming's soul to feel a tearing pain. However, Lu Ming gritted his teeth and withstood it. Kill. With a flap of his black wings, Lu Ming charged towards the skeletal old man in front of him. He stared at the skeletal old man, completely ignoring the Death God scythe's attack behind him. Swish. The black wings were like two heavenly blades, slashing towards the skeletal old man. At the same time, a long spear appeared in Lu Ming's hand and he swept it out. 13th strike. The Emperor-level long spear vibrated 4 times in a row. 4 terrifying forces instantly erupted and blasted towards the skeletal old man. At the same time, Dandan and Bubble's attacks also arrived, crushing their opponent at the same time. The skeletal old man roared and stretched out his bony claws, slapping out continuously. A terrifying collision erupted, and the force swept out in all directions. In the end, The skeletal old man was at a disadvantage and was sent flying. The black light on his body trembled for a while. Damn it, kid, I want you to die. The skeletal old man roared crazily, and the black light on his body burned like a flame. Behind him, the huge death god turned into a ray of light and merged into the skeletal old man's body. Boom. Following that, a terrifying aura spread out from the skeletal old man's body. It was like an immemorial divine mountain, pressing down on Lu Ming's body. This was the terrifying aura of a saint stage expert. Not good, this old man is going all out. Dandan exclaimed. Demonic soul blade kill, the skeletal old man roared, and the black light on his body condensed into a shocking giant blade, slashing towards Lu Ming. The giant blade slashed through the clouds in the sky, splitting them in half. This giant blade made Lu Ming feel a terrifying sense of danger. Buzz. The shield flew out and blocked in front of him. Then, Dandan and Bubble set up their defenses. Bam! 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 The giant blade slashed down, and the shield flew out. Then, Dandan and Bubble's defenses were shattered. The giant blade then slashed towards Lu Ming. The black wings closed in front of him, and above them, was shrouded in the chaotic domain. Clang! The giant blade slashed on the black wings, and the black wings shook violently. Lu Ming's body shook violently, and he spat out a mouthful of blood. Then, Lu Ming's entire body smashed towards the ground like a meteorite. Boom! Lu Ming smashed heavily on the ground, creating a large crater. Nest, what a powerful force! Lu Ming spat out a mouthful of blood. He felt the blood in his body churning, and several bones in his body were broken. The skeletal old man flew toward Lu Ming, holding an illusionary giant blade in his hand. A powerful aura shrouded Lu Ming, and the flames in his eyes burned fiercely. Lu Ming was more difficult to deal with than he had imagined. The martial arts he practiced were shocking, and he had many treasures, including a few sacred weapons. He did not look like a first-layer martial dominator at all. At the same time, he had a space-time spirit mouse and a little tortoise with him. He could not recognize them, but they were definitely shocking. Together, Lu Ming's vitality was too strong. Even if the skeletal old man was severely injured, he could still kill an ordinary first-layer martial dominator easily. However, Lu Ming was still alive. He had already used some forbidden techniques, regardless of his injuries, but Lu Ming was still alive. While the skeletal old man was shocked, he was even more determined to kill Lu Ming. What should I do? If this continues, I will be exhausted to death by this old man. Lu Ming had many thoughts in his mind. Oh right, the prison-suppressing boulder. Lu Ming's eyes flickered all of a sudden. It was obvious that the skeletal old man had practiced an unorthodox martial art. The prison-suppressing boulder was extremely effective against unorthodox and demonic martial arts. Lu Ming had almost forgotten about it. It was related to the fact that Lu Ming had refined his spiritual flesh after reaching the martial dominator realm. After Lu Ming had refined his spiritual flesh, he had subconsciously neglected the remaining two bloodlines. He had almost never used them. Chapter 1470. With a thought, the prison-suppressing Steely floated out. Suppress. Lu Ming growled, and the prison-suppressing Steely rapidly enlarged, suppressing the skeletal old man. The prison-suppressing Steely. It's the prison-suppressing Steely. Impossible. Wasn't the prison-suppressing Steely shattered? The moment the skeletal old man saw the prison-suppressing Steely, he let out a hysterical cry. His voice was filled with endless fear. Then, he turned and ran. When the skeletal old man saw the prison-suppressing Steely, he didn't even dare to make a move and directly ran. Boom! The prison-suppressing Steely shook, and the word below emitted a dazzling light. The prison-suppressing Steely became as tall as the sky and instantly appeared above the skeletal old man's head, suppressing him. Ah! The skeletal old man screamed in horror, and a terrifying black light spread out from his body. At this moment, the skeletal old man's aura was extremely strong. He waved his hand, and a terrifying saber light slashed at the prison-suppressing Steely. This saber was many times more powerful than the saber that he had slashed at Lu Ming previously. Lu Ming's expression was grave. The skeletal old man's saber was truly going all out. However, the prison-suppressing stele emitted a terrifying aura that could suppress everything in the world. When it came crashing down, the saber light that the skeletal old man slashed out instantly collapsed. Boom. Then, the prison-suppressing stele heavily pressed down on the skeletal old man's body. The skeletal old man screamed miserably, and his withered body directly exploded, turning into ashes. Lu Ming was dumbfounded. This was because he didn't activate the prison-suppressing stele at all. It was completely the prison-suppressing stele that killed the enemy automatically. Moreover, its power was shockingly strong, many times stronger than when Lu Ming activated it himself. The prison-suppressing stele could actually kill the enemy automatically and erupt with shocking power. Lu Ming found it unbelievable. Swoosh. At this moment, a black light flew out from the place where the skeletal old man's body exploded. Its speed was shockingly fast, as if it had shattered the void, disappearing in the blink of an eye. Brat, wait for the revenge of my evil spirit church. The skeletal old man's unpleasant voice came from afar. He's not dead yet. Lu Ming frowned. The skeletal old man's body was destroyed, but a wisp of his soul had escaped. Wang. The prison-suppressing stele trembled, as if it was angry. Then, it quickly shrank and flew back to Lu Ming's head, where it floated quietly. Lu Ming looked at the prison-suppressing stele curiously. It seemed that the prison-suppressing stele was not to be trifled with. Its origins were astonishing. Lu Ming had not displayed the true power of the prison-suppressing stele. What he had displayed was most likely just the tip of the iceberg. The prison-suppressing stele is actually attacking the enemy on its own. This has never happened before. Strange, could it be that the other party has cultivated some evil arts? But I've encountered people who cultivated the evil arts, the demonic arts, and even the ghostly arts before, but none of them have ever caused such a phenomenon. Lu Ming frowned as he pondered. He felt that the prison-suppressing stele shouldn't have attacked him just because the other party had cultivated an evil art. There must be some other reason, but Lu Ming still didn't know what it was. Back in the Godly Ruins Continent group, that big man from the Heavenly Divinity sect said that the Heavenly Divinity sect had a fragment of the prison-suppressing stele. It shouldn't be wrong. I must think of a way to get that fragment, Lu Ming thought to himself. However, the Heavenly Divinity sect was extremely powerful. Some people even said that the Heavenly Divinity sect's overall strength might be the strongest among the 13 top sects in the Kang province. It would be extremely difficult to obtain the fragment of the prison-suppressing stele. Millimeter. Lu Ming suddenly looked in front of him, at the place where the skeletal old man's body had been destroyed. The skeletal old man didn't leave anything behind, not even a storage ring. But now, Lu Ming saw a piece of black paper floating down. Lu Ming's heart moved, and he kept the prison-suppressing stele bloodline. His body moved, and he appeared beside the paper, grabbing it in his hand. A secret skill. Lu Ming glanced at it and found that it was a secret skill recorded on the paper. Let's leave this place first. Lu Ming kept the paper, and with a flap of his black wings, he tore through the void and left this place. The battle just now might have attracted the attention of the nearby experts. A few 100,000 li away, Lu Ming found a secluded cave and entered it. Sitting in the cave, Lu Ming waved his hand and summoned a pile of origin stones. His devouring force burst out and devoured the origin chi of the origin stones, refining them and recovering his strength. A few hours later, Lu Ming's true chi had fully recovered. Furthermore, his true chi was flowing smoothly and had reached the peak of its refinement. I'm about to have a breakthrough. Lu Ming's face was filled with joy. Previously at the Dragon God Valley, he had refined 3 royal domain fruits. Both his domain and cultivation had reached the peak first layer martial dominator realm, only a step away from the second layer martial dominator realm. After a period of time and the battle with the skeletal old man, his potential had been suppressed, and he was finally about to have a breakthrough. Lu Ming's palm glowed as a heavenly Dao stone appeared, which flew toward Lu Ming's head and floated above Lu Ming's head, emitting streams of heavenly Dao aura. Lu Ming began to cultivate in silence. A few days later, A powerful devouring force was emitted from Lu Ming's body. The origin chi of the heavens and earth surged toward Lu Ming and was devoured by Lu Ming. At the same time, Lu Ming took out a pile of intermediate origin stones to assist his cultivation. As the origin stones were devoured, Lu Ming's aura skyrocketed. Second layer martial dominator realm. Lu Ming finally had a breakthrough. His chaotic domain was upgraded to the second layer martial dominator realm, while his cultivation had also reached the second layer martial dominator realm, greatly increasing his strength. However, Lu Ming did not stop cultivating. He continued to stabilize his cultivation. 3 days later, Lu Ming finally came to an end. His cultivation of the second layer martial dominator realm had thoroughly stabilized. Let's see what kind of secret technique the skeletal old man left behind. At this moment, Lu Ming took out the paper left behind by the skeletal old man and began to read it. The black paper was made of an unknown material. It was extremely tough and flexible. It felt as light as a feather when he held it in his hand. Lu Ming inserted his true chi into the paper. Lines of tiny words appeared on the paper. Secret soul attack technique, godly sword art. After a while, Lu Ming put down the paper with a hint of excitement in his eyes. What was written on this paper was a soul attack technique. According to what was written on it, cultivating this secret technique would allow one's soul to be tempered, and its strength would constantly increase. At the same time, one could use a special method to condense spiritual strength into a divine sword that could be used to attack another person's soul. Lu Ming could not help but recall the attack of the skeletal old man. The eyes of the skeletal old man had emitted a black glow, which was like a godly sword attacking one's soul. This was a priceless treasure. It was almost impossible to buy it in the outside world. It could refine one's soul and increase the strength of one's soul. It could also be used to attack one's soul. This was extremely suitable for Lu Ming. His soul had been refined by the world-refining calamity bell. It had been broken and then rebuilt. The strength of his soul was dozens of times stronger than an ordinary person's. If he cultivated the godly sword art, his soul attack would be extremely powerful. Chapter 1471. Time passed slowly. In the blink of an eye, another 10 days had passed. Whoosh! Lu Ming, who was sitting cross-legged, suddenly opened his eyes. 2 black rays of light shot out from his eyes. They were like 2 black divine swords that pierced forward. They flew a few hundred meters and disappeared into the walls of the cave. The divine sword art is so mysterious. I haven't mastered it yet. According to the records, when I master it to a high level, I can become invisible. With a shout, I can destroy the opponent's soul and kill them without leaving a trace, Lu Ming muttered. The more he cultivated, the more Lu Ming felt that the divine sword art was unfathomable. He recalled the time when the Feng family's patriarch had brought them to meet the skeletal old man. The skeletal old man had killed Duan Yang and Fu Xing with a single shout. It was likely that he had the ability to destroy their souls with a single shout. There was also the Feng family's second master and third master. They should have died because their souls were destroyed. That was why they didn't have any wounds on their bodies. Lu Ming's eyes were filled with anticipation. The divine sword art would definitely become his trump card in the future. I have been in seclusion for more than half a month. It's time to go back. Lu Ming walked out of the cave and looked into the distance. What entered his eyes was a vast mountain range. He realized that he was lost. He didn't know where he was. Previously, when the skeletal old man was chasing him, he had randomly chosen a direction to escape. He didn't pay attention to where he was escaping to. I'll find a place with people and ask around. Lu Ming soared into the sky and disappeared. Half an hour later, a city appeared in front of him. Lu Ming flew into the city. Not long after, he flew out again. I never thought that I would be in the territory of the Sky Universe Demon Sect. Lu Ming muttered. Sky Universe Demon Sect. He thought of Xian Yanqing. Since I'm here, I should go and see Xiao Qing. How is she doing? Why didn't she enter the Great Emperor's mystic realm? Lu Ming had a lot of questions in his heart. Then, He moved and flew in the direction of the Sky Universe Devil Sect according to the information he had just obtained. Lu Ming flew at full speed. After more than a day, huge mountains came into view in front of him. Those were all demon mountains. Demonic mountains that were tens of thousands of feet tall pierced into the sky. This region was filled with surging demonic chi. This was the entrance to the Sky Universe Demon Sect. When Lu Ming flew closer, Lu Ming saw a shocking scene. In the depths of the Devil Mountains, there was a pillar of devil chi that towered up into the sky. It was incomparably large, even larger than most of the Devil Mountains. Could it be that the devil chi here was formed by that pillar of devil chi? Lu Ming muttered to himself as he continued flying. Stop! Suddenly, with a loud shout, two figures appeared in front of Lu Ming, blocking his path. The two young men were in their 20s. They wore black robes and carried demonic sabers on their backs. There was a demonic mark between their eyebrows. They were disciples of the Sky Universe Devil Sect. Halt! If you continue forward, you will reach the entrance of the Sky Universe Devil Sect. What business do you have here? One of the young men asked. Greetings to the two of you. Lu Ming cupped his fists and said, I'm here to look for someone. Oh! Looking for someone? Looking for a disciple of the Sky Universe Devil Sect. Tell me, what's her name? Maybe I can help you ask. One of the young men said. Her name is Xian Yanqing. Have the two of you heard of her? Lu Ming said. What? You're looking for the saintess? The two young men's faces suddenly changed as they shouted in a low voice. Saintess? Lu Ming was dumbfounded. How did Xian Yanqing become the saintess of the Sky Universe Devil Sect? He remembered that after Xian Yanjuan joined the Heavenly God Sect, she became the saintess of the Heavenly God Sect. Could it be that Xian Yanqing also became the saintess of the Sky Universe Devil Sect? At this moment, countless thoughts flashed through Lu Ming's mind. Kid, leave now. Hurry up and leave. One of the young men on the left said coldly. Why? I'm really looking for Yanqing. Lu Ming said. How dare you? How dare you call the saintess by her name? Why don't you look at yourself in the mirror? You're just a second-level martial royal realm cultivator and you want to get close to the saintess? Dream on. The young man on the left scolded. Lu Ming frowned and said, Guys, I'm an old friend of the saintess. I'm from the same place. From the same place? The two young men were stunned. The one on the right said, You're from the divine wilderness continent. That's right. Lu Ming nodded. The two young men looked at each other and one of them said, Kid, you'd better not lie to us. Otherwise, you'll end up miserable. Also, you're from the same place as the saintess. What's your relationship with her? The saintess is very busy and needs to cultivate in seclusion. We can report this to the higher-ups. If we find out that you're lying, kid, you know the consequences. I'm Yanqing's boyfriend. Lu Ming said after a slight hesitation. What? How bold, kid, you're courting death. The two young men uttered furious roars and glared at Lu Ming with murderous intent. Kid, you dare to disrespect the saintess. You deserve to die. Who do you think you are? A mere ant dares to claim that you're the saintess' boyfriend. You won't be leaving today. The two young men snapped as they drew out their demonic sabers. An icy aura encapsulated Lu Ming's figure. They both possessed a cultivation of the peak second-layer martial royal realm. Lu Ming frowned and said, I'm telling the truth. You can report this to the saintess and tell her that Lu Ming is here to see her. She'll know what I'm talking about. How bold of you to say such nonsense. Die. The young man on the left yelled as he slashed at Lu Ming with the demonic saber in his hand. At the same time, the young man on the right slashed at Lu Ming's head with his demonic saber. It seemed like they were going to kill Lu Ming. Lu Ming's eyes flickered coldly as a long spear appeared in his hand and collided with the two demonic sabers. Clang! Clang! The demonic sabers vibrated as a terrifying force surged into them. The two young men's bodies shuddered violently as they were knocked backward. Only after retreating a few dozen steps and stepping on the void with a rumbling sound did he stabilize his body. How bold of you to fight back. You're courting death. You won't be leaving this place today. The two young men yelled at Qin Nan. The two of you, Lu Ming asked nicely, and everything he said is true. Yet, you want to kill me. This is outrageous. Lu Ming said coldly. If they weren't at the Heavenly Demon Sect, they would have been killed by the previous attack if they wanted to kill Lu Ming. What do you mean by telling the truth? Bullshit. You're insulting the Saintess. One of them yelled. Whoosh. At that instant, a demonic glow flickered as another young man appeared. What's going on? The young man placed his hands behind him. His gaze was sharp, and his aura was several times stronger than the two young men guarding the entrance. Senior brother Jin Yu, you're just in time. Here comes a pervert who dares to claim that he's the boyfriend of the Saintess Xian Yanqing, one of the young men yelled. What? The young man with the name Jin Yu wore an icy expression as a murderous intent was emitted from his body, encapsulating Lu Ming's figure. An ant dares to claim that you're the boyfriend of the Saintess. You're dead meat. Jin Yu stepped forward as his powerful aura suppressed Lu Ming's figure. Peak 4th layer Martial Dominator Realm. Chapter 1472. Kid, kneel down now and slap yourself 200 times, and I'll leave your corpse intact. Jin Yu stared at Lu Ming in a condescending manner. Ridiculous, Nianqing and I are in a relationship. We've known each other for many years. Why would you say that? Lu Ming said coldly. How could Lu Ming avoid such a question? He could tell that these young men had different thoughts about Xian Yanqing. Therefore, he would not avoid it. He wanted everyone to know that Xian Yanqing was Lu Ming's girlfriend. Die! Jin Yu yelled and slammed his palm down. Bang! A huge fiend palm print pressed down on Lu Ming with a loud bang. Its power was shocking. Previously, the patriarch of the Feng clan had also been a peak 4th layer martial dominator, but his aura was nothing compared to Jin Yu's. Evidently, this person was a heaven's chosen. Break! Lu Ming murmured as he stabbed forward with his spear. 13th strike. Whoosh! A spear glow tore through the sky and stabbed at the demonic palm print. 4 streams of energy burst out from the tip of the spear and penetrated the demonic palm print, causing it to dissipate into demonic chi. A mere 2nd layer martial dominator has some strength, but you're still going to die. Jin Yu's eyes were cold as his aura grew stronger. His demonic chi burned like flames. Stop it. At that instant, a crisp voice could be heard. Jin Yu was startled. He turned around and his expression changed drastically. He bowed and said, Greetings, Saintess. Greetings, Saintess. The two young men from before bowed as well. Saintess. Lu Ming glanced in the direction of the voice. A woman was flying toward them. She was wearing a long black dress. Her figure was graceful and her skin was fair. She was extremely beautiful. However, she was not Xian Yanqing, but an unfamiliar woman. Clearly, there was more than one Saintess in the Sky Universe Demon Sect. This was very normal. Many sects would have titles such as Holy Maiden, Holy Sun, Zongzi, etc. These people were the most talented geniuses of a sect, and they had the potential to inherit the position of sect leader in the future. However, there would usually be more than one such person. Some sects had 2, 3, or even more. Every single one of them was extremely talented, and they competed with each other. Only the strongest would be able to inherit the position of sect master. The woman stepped into the air and arrived in front of Lu Ming. What's going on? Saintess Liu Yu, an audacious pervert, has come here. He dares to claim that he is Saintess Nianqing's boyfriend. I'm going to kill him, Jin Yu said respectfully. Although his cultivation was not bad, he was respectful and fearful in front of Liu Yu. Nianqing's boyfriend? Interesting. Liu Yu's eyes flashed and an inexplicable smile appeared at the corner of her mouth. She looked at Lu Ming and said, Are you really Nianqing's boyfriend? That's right. Whether it's real or fake, we'll know once we see Nianqing. Lu Ming said, Okay, I'll believe you this time. But you have to know that if you lie, the Sky Demon Sect will be your burial ground. There was a trace of killing intent in Liu Yu's eyes. I'm just a LV2 Martial Royal Realm cultivator. How dare I? Lu Ming smiled. Okay, I'll take you to see Nianqing, Liu Yu said. Saintess, Jin Yu's face changed. Shut up. Do you have a problem with my decision? Liu Yu glanced at Jin Yu coldly. Jin Yu broke out in a cold sweat and quickly lowered his head, not daring to say anything. Let's go. Liu Yu stepped into the air and walked toward the depths of the Sky Demon sect. Lu Ming followed behind Liu Yu. On the way, some people looked at Lu Ming in surprise, but when they saw that it was Liu Yu who led the way, no one said anything. After crossing many demon mountains, the demon chi in front of them became denser and denser. Soon, they arrived at an incomparably huge demonic mountain and landed in front of a huge palace. This is Nianqing's residence, Liu Yu said. There was a trace of anticipation in Lu Ming's eyes. He hadn't seen Xie Nianqing for more than half a year. He wondered if she was doing well since they parted ways on the continent of God. Saintess Liu Yu, may I know why you're here? A middle-aged woman appeared in front of Liu Yu and bowed slightly. Please tell her that an old friend is here to see Nianqing, Liu Yu said softly. An old friend? The middle-aged woman looked at Lu Ming and said, is he the one? Yes, this is Lu Ming. He said that his Nianqing's boyfriend. Liu Yu smiled. The Saintess's boyfriend? The middle-aged woman's face suddenly changed. She said, he's just a LV2 Martial Royal Realm cultivator. Saintess Liu Yu, are you mistaken? This is the Sky Demon sect. I don't think he dares to lie. Whether he's right or wrong, just tell Nianqing to come out and see him, Liu Yu said. The middle-aged woman's eyes flickered. She pondered for a moment and said, all right, I'll tell the Saintess. Saying this, the middle-aged woman turned around and went into the palace. A moment later, a figure came out from the palace and appeared in front of Lu Ming. Lu Ming, is that really you? A surprised voice could be heard. A glamorous figure stood in front of Lu Ming and observed him carefully. Nianqing. Lu Ming wore a smile on his face. It had been more than half a year since they last met. He finally saw Xie Nianqing in Yuanlu. It had been half a year since they last met, but Xie Nianqing was still as beautiful as ever. In fact, the devilish glow she exuded was even more intense than before. She exuded a unique charm that would cause the hearts of those who saw her to palpitate. Liu Yu, who was standing beside Xie Nianqing, was also beautiful. However, when she stood next to Xie Nianqing, she was subconsciously outshone. The others' gazes naturally shifted from Liu Yu to Xie Nianqing. Liu Yu's eyes flashed with jealousy, but she smiled and said, Junior sister Nianqing, it seems like he's telling the truth when he says he's your boyfriend. That's right. Xie Nianqing nodded. Ha ha ha, then I'll have to congratulate junior sister Nianqing. But I'm a little curious. Your boyfriend's cultivation is too low. He's only a second-layer martial emperor. At this point, Liu Yu stopped. Her tone was filled with a hint of mockery. In my opinion, Lu Ming's talent is much stronger than yours. It won't be long before he surpasses you. All right, senior sister, please go back. Xie Nianqing said coldly, as if he didn't get along well with Liu Yu. Ha ha ha, junior sister, I'll take my leave first. Liu Yu smiled and left in the air. Lu Ming, come with me. Xie Nianqing pulled Lu Ming's hand and entered the palace. There was an elegant courtyard behind the palace. Xie Nianqing leaned on Lu Ming's shoulder. Lu Ming took the opportunity to hug Xie Nianqing's slender waist and kissed Xie Nianqing's rosy lips. The place was filled with tenderness. After a long while, their lips parted. The two snuggled up to each other and poured out their hearts. Xiao Qing, how did you become the saintess of the Sky Demon sect? Chapter 1473. After I came to the Heavenly Universe Demon sect, I accidentally got into a conflict with someone and had a big fight. Unexpectedly, my master took a fancy to me. My master is the sect leader of the Heavenly Universe Demon sect. She took me in as a pro-disciple. Later on, I was tested to have a rare innate demon body. Therefore, I was made the saintess of the Heavenly Universe Demon sect. Xie Nianqing explained. Innate demon body, is it a type of innate spiritual body? Lu Ming's heart skipped a beat. That was possible. After all, The cultivation level in the divine wilderness continent was too low. Some heaven-defying talents could not be discovered or discovered. However, it was different in the Yuanlu continent. Moreover, there were many types of innate spiritual bodies. For example, Yin Feng's innate spiritual body was the worst among the innate spiritual bodies. After breaking through to the martial emperor realm, he could only transform into an inferior earth spiritual body. Some strong innate spiritual bodies could transform into a medium earth spiritual body or even a superior earth spiritual body or even stronger. Xian Yanqing's innate demon body was probably extraordinary. Therefore, she was made the saintess of the heavenly universe demon sect. Moreover, Lu Ming realized that Xian Yanqing's cultivation was higher than his. She had reached the peak of level 3 martial emperor realm and was only a step away from level 4 martial emperor realm. Lu Ming finally understood why Xian Yanqing did not go to the great emperor mystic realm. It was very likely that Xian Yanqing had already broken through to the martial emperor realm and could not enter the great emperor mystic realm. Following that, Lu Ming briefly explained his experience along the way. Xiao Qing, that Liu Yu doesn't seem to get along with you? Lu Ming asked. That's right. She and I are both saintesses and are qualified to compete for the position of the future sect leader of the Heavenly Universe Demon Sect. She brought you to see me because she wants to damage my reputation. She doesn't have good intentions, Xian Yanqing explained. Although there was no rule in the Sky Universe Demon Sect that forbade the Holy Maiden from associating with others, it was generally hoped that the Holy Maiden would try her best not to associate with others before she broke through to the Saint Realm because it would distract her. Liu Yu had purposely brought Lu Ming here to find Xian Yanqing to let others know that Xian Yanqing had a boyfriend and that they were dating. This way, the higher-ups of the Sky Universe Devil Sect would have a bad impression of Xian Yanqing, and their chances of competing for the position of Sect Master would be lower. This was the reason why Liu Yu had brought Lu Ming in. Xian Yanqing's lips curled into a smile as he said, if she wants to compete for the position of Sect Master, then let her. After all, I don't care about the position of Sect Master, Xiao Qing. Regardless of whether you have a heart or not, you still have to be careful in the future. Lu Ming asked with concern. Yes, I know. Xian Yanqing nodded. The two continued to chat for a while. Meanwhile, the news that a strange man with a cultivation of the second-layer martial dominator realm was the boyfriend of the holy maiden Xian Yanqing was spread across the Sky Universe Demon Sect, causing a great uproar. A second-layer martial emperor trash is the Holy Virgin's boyfriend? This is ridiculous. A toad lusting after a swan's flesh. I'll let him know that he's not worthy of the Holy Maiden. Voices filled with anger and jealousy could be heard from the mouths of the young men. That being said, Xian Yanqing and Lu Ming were unaware of this. The two continued to be intimate with each other. A few hours later. Lu Ming, it's rare for you to come to the Sky Universe Demon Sect. I'll show you around. There are some nice places in the Sky Universe Demon Sect. Xian Yanqing said. Sure. Lu Ming nodded. The two came out from the palace and walked in the air while holding hands, taking a stroll in the Sky Universe Demon Sect. However, before long, they were stopped by a young man. How dare you take advantage of the Holy Maiden? You deserve to die. The young man roared. His eyes were burning with jealousy when he saw Lu Ming and Xian Yanqing holding hands. Xian Yanqing was a legend in the Sky Universe Demon Sect. She came from a small continent and was recruited by the Sky Universe Demon Sect's envoy. As soon as she arrived, she was chosen by the Sky Universe Demon Sect's sect leader as a core disciple. Later, it was found that she had a rare innate demon body and was named the Holy Maiden. Moreover, Xian Yanqing was a kingdom-toppling beauty. Compared to Xian Yanqing, some of the beauties in the Sky Universe Devil Sect paled in comparison. Therefore, Xian Yanqing became the goddess in the eyes of many young men in the Sky Universe Demon Sect. However, Xian Yanqing's personality was cold and aloof. She treated everyone with a cold expression and had a strange temper. There wasn't a single handsome young man who could make her smile. But now, Xian Yanqing's boyfriend had suddenly appeared, and he was even holding hands with Xian Yanqing. This caused the youth to almost explode from anger. He was so jealous that he wanted to vomit blood. Get lost. A cold voice came from Xian Yanqing's mouth. Holy maiden, this person is trash. You have to think twice. Don't be fooled. The young man roared. Get lost. You only have 3 breaths of time, Xian Yanqing said coldly, and a terrifying aura spread out from her body. The young man's face turned ugly. He gave Lu Ming a warning look and then turned to leave. Little Qing, it seems that you are very popular in the Sky Universe Demon Sect. Lu Ming muttered. Xian Yanqing rolled her eyes at Lu Ming and smiled. If the young men in the Sky Universe Demon Sect saw Xian Yanqing's expression, they would be dumbfounded. What's wrong? Are you jealous? Are you feeling pressured? I have many suitors in the Sky Universe Demon Sect. There are even geniuses from other sects. Some of them are even at the peak of the Martial King realm. Xian Yanqing blinked her big eyes and looked at Lu Ming. I am a little jealous. However, I don't feel pressured. These people are nothing in my eyes. In a few years, they will not be my opponent. Lu Ming smiled confidently. You are so shameless, Xian Yanqing said with a smile, his face brimming with happiness. At this moment, Lu Ming suddenly looked in front of him. In front of him, rays of light streaked across the sky. Even though they were far away, Lu Ming could see that they were young men flying towards him angrily. Lu Ming's lips curled up and he said, Since you said that I am shameless, I will show you how shameless I am. After saying this, Lu Ming directly hugged Xian Yanqing's slender waist and pulled Xian Yanqing into his arms. How dare you? Let go of your stinky hands. Despicable ant, how dare you? I'm going to cripple your hands. Let go. Several young men appeared in front of Lu Ming and Xian Yanqing. When they saw Lu Ming hugging Xian Yanqing, their eyes almost spat fire. Their faces turned red, and they could not wait to devour Lu Ming. Damn it, the sacred and noble saintess was being hugged by this guy. Upon having this thought, they could not wait to tear Lu Ming into pieces. All of you, piss off. It's none of your business. Xian Yanqing snapped coldly. Saintess, you are still young. Don't be fooled by this guy. That's right. You have a peerless talent. You should find a guy with the same talent. For example, I am only a second-layer martial dominator trash. The young men spoke one after another. Mo Jie. Chapter 1474. Mo Jie sneered as he watched from the crowd. At this moment, he stepped out and shouted, Lu Ming, I know that you and the Holy Lady came from the same small mainland and have known each other since a long time ago. However, in that small mainland, the Holy Lady was like a pearl covered in dust and her talents were not discovered. Therefore, your cultivation seems to be worthy of the Holy Lady. However, the Saintess' talent has been revealed and she is now from a different world from you. The difference between you and the Saintess is too great. If you know what's good for you, leave the Saintess. Don't waste her time. There was a cold smile at the corners of Lu Ming's lips. In other words, you're saying that you're very powerful and talented. Of course, how can you compare yourself to us? Someone replied with a sneer. Hee hee. Lu Ming let out a disdainful smile and said, I, Lu Ming, came from a desolate continent, the Divine Desolation continent. I'm 26 years old now and I'm a second-layer martial royal realm cultivator. What about you? You call yourselves geniuses from the Yuanlu continent. With such a good environment and cultivation at your age, what gives you the right to act all high and mighty in front of me? If you give me a few years, I'll surely trample all of you under my feet. Lu Ming's powerful voice spread far and wide, causing the young geniuses of the Heavenly Universe Demon Sect to wear unpleasant expressions. How presumptuous! Who do you think you are? How dare you say you can trample all of us under your feet? You're a tyrant on a desolate island and you think you can do the same in the Yuanlu continent? You're overestimating yourself. The young geniuses scolded loudly. One of them stepped forward and yelled furiously, Kid, I'm also a second-layer martial royal realm cultivator. Do you dare to fight me? If you want to fight, let's fight. Lu Ming let go of Xian Yanqing and stepped forward. Kid, even if we're at the same level, I'll let you know what true strength is. I'll defeat you in 10 moves. The young man yelled coldly as a demonic aura soared into the sky. He looked like a demon god as he waved his hands, and a terrifying demonic light slashed at Lu Ming. Get lost. Lu Ming's eyes glistened as he took a step forward. 9 dragons, heaven stomping step. Now, Lu Ming had already cultivated the 9 dragons' heaven stomping steps to perfection. A casual step was like 9 dragons walking in the sky, and its power was terrifying. Boom! Lu Ming took a step forward, causing the void to tremble. A dragon roar shook the 9 heavens, and 9 dragons flew out from under Lu Ming's feet. His opponent's demonic light was immediately shattered by the 9 dragons, which then crashed heavily into his opponent's body. The other party let out a blood-curdling scream as the bones in his body crackled. His body was sent flying, and he coughed up large mouthfuls of blood. He flew for over 1,000 meters before finally coming to a halt. Defeated in one move. How is this possible? He muttered to himself. It was simply unbearable. Just a moment ago, he was acting all high and mighty. He wanted to teach a lesson to Lu Ming, an ant from an uncivilized island, with the title of Yuanlu's genius. He even said that even if they were on the same level, he would let Lu Ming know what true battle prowess was. He would defeat Lu Ming in 10 moves. But now, he had been defeated by Lu Ming in a single move. Compared to what he had just said, he was so ashamed that he wished he could find a crack and hide in it. The faces of the other young men of the Sky Universe Demon sect changed. The young man from before had an inferior earthly spiritual body. His battle prowess could easily crush other cultivators of the same level, but he had been defeated by Lu Ming in a single move. This made them re-evaluate Lu Ming. Who else wants to fight me? My cultivation is at the early stage of the 2nd layer martial royal realm. Those of the 4th layer martial royal realm or below can fight me. If you can defeat me, I'll leave right away. Lu Ming glanced at the crowd as his voice echoed from afar. What? Cultivators of the 4th layer of the martial emperor realm and below are allowed to fight. Arrogant beyond belief. You're overestimating yourself. The young men of the Sky Universe Demon sect yelled furiously. Lu Ming had said that those of the 4th layer martial royal realm or below from the Sky Universe Demon sect could fight him. He was only at the early stage of the 2nd layer martial royal realm, but he dared to say that he could fight the 4th layer martial royal realm geniuses of the Sky Universe Demon sect. Kid, don't think you're so great just because you defeated someone of the same level. I'll fight you. A young man yelled furiously as he stepped forward. A powerful aura burst out from him, forming a demonic cloud that covered the sky. This person's cultivation was at the 3rd layer martial royal realm. Bang! 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 Lu Ming was straightforward. He took a step forward and executed the 9 dragons' heaven trampling steps again. Each of Lu Ming's steps caused the sky to rumble as if a giant was walking in the sky. In an instant, 9 giant dragons danced in the air as they lunged toward his opponent. Break! His opponent yelled as he threw out dozens of punches in a row. Rays of pitch-black fist radiance shot toward Lu Ming. However, when the 9 dragons collided, the fist radiance collapsed. Bang! Just like the previous one, the young man was sent flying by the 9 dragons. He let out a cry of agony as he spat out mouthfuls of blood. Another move. Just like the previous young man, he was defeated with a single move. There seemed to be no difference between the 3rd layer martial royal realm and the 2nd layer martial royal realm. The only difference was that Lu Ming had taken a few more steps. The young men of the Sky Universe Demon sect exchanged glances with one another. How could Lu Ming's strength be so terrifying? Was he really someone from the desolated island? Xian Yanqing smiled from behind. Lu Ming was getting stronger. Humph, maybe he used all his strength in that move. He's just putting up a strong front. A cold voice came from the crowd. It was Mo Jie. Many people's eyes flickered. Maybe that was the case. Perhaps, Lu Ming's earlier move seemed simple, but it was very likely that he had unleashed all his power at once and unleashed all his trump cards. That was why he was able to defeat his opponent in one move and obtain victory. Maybe Lu Ming's strength had reached its limit. That must be it. Many people thought so. Otherwise, how could a lowly ant from a desolate island have such strong combat strength? How could they endure this? Mo Jie, do you dare to come out and fight me? Lu Ming stared at Mo Jie and said coldly. Mo Jie's face darkened. In the great Emperor Mystic Realm, he had indeed fought with Lu Ming and was no match for Lu Ming. Mo Jie, go. Let this kid know the true power of the Sky Universe Demon Sect's genius. That's right. With your strength, it'll be easy to take him down, the other young men of the Sky Universe Demon Sect said, causing Mo Jie's face to darken. What? You don't dare to fight me? Why don't you just admit defeat? Also, all of you, get lost. Lu Ming sneered. Arrogant. Mo Jie, teach him a good lesson. A young man was enraged. Bang. Bang. Mo Jie stepped out and stared coldly at Lu Ming. Lu Ming, times have changed. Now, I can defeat you. Boom. A powerful aura exploded from Mo Jie's body, peak level 3 martial royal realm. Chapter 1475. For someone like Mo Jie, he had suppressed his cultivation when he was a sovereign. Once he broke through to the martial royal realm, his cultivation would improve by leaps and bounds. However, after reaching the peak of LV3 martial royal realm, his previous accumulation had almost been exhausted. His future progress would slow down. However, this was enough to make Mo Jie confident. His cultivation was almost 2 levels higher than Lu Ming's. With every step Mo Jie took, his aura became stronger. His demonic body was glowing and there was demonic chi flowing around it. Mo Jie has a rare medium earth spiritual body and his cultivation has reached the peak of LV3 martial royal realm. He can easily suppress this kid. Yes, I wonder how many moves this kid can take from Mo Jie. Some of the youths from the Sky Demon Sect began to discuss. Mo Jie, you are very confident. But I hope you won't end up like the previous two. Lu Ming smiled faintly. The previous 2 youths were also full of confidence, but in the end, they were defeated miserably. Dark Demon Fist. Mo Jie suddenly roared. His body moved like lightning and he pounced on Lu Ming. Then, he threw a punch at Lu Ming. Wherever the fist passed, the void trembled and a terrifying storm was formed. Good. Lu Ming smiled faintly and threw out a punch. Dong. Their fists collided heavily with each other. It was as if 2 giant hammers had collided in the air. Demonic chi surged. When the 2 fists collided, Mo Jie's face changed. He groaned and his body trembled as he was sent flying far away. What? The other youths from the Sky Demon Sect opened their eyes wide. Mo Jie had been defeated in a head-on confrontation. Mo Jie had a medium earth spiritual body and his body was extremely strong. However, he had been defeated by Lu Ming with a single punch. Could it be that Lu Ming also had a medium earth spiritual body? A medium earth spiritual body was considered a rare spiritual body in the 13 top sects in the Kang continent. Dark Demon Seal. Mo Jie retreated 100 meters with a gloomy face. He looked up to the sky and roared. Demonic chi burst out from his body like a raging flame. Everything within 100 meters was covered by demonic chi. A huge palm print formed in the sky. It seemed to cover the sky and the sun as it blasted toward Lu Ming. It was terrifyingly powerful. Mo Jie's battle prowess was indeed very strong. He was much stronger than the 3rd layer martial emperor from before. Both the strength of his spiritual body and the use of domain martial techniques were shocking. An ordinary peak 3rd layer martial king would not be able to withstand a single attack from Mo Jie. However, Lu Ming's expression remained calm. Whoosh! Lu Ming shot up into the air, surrounded by his primal chaos domain, and unleashed the hell-suppressing heaven art. Lu Ming's body appeared extremely small in front of Mo Jie's demonic palm. However, when Lu Ming's fist landed on the demonic palm immediately collapsed. Lu Ming stepped through the devilish chi and walked towards Mo Jie. His cold voice rang out, Mo Jie, is this all you've got? What a disappointment. Impossible. Mo Jie roared. That move just now was the combination of his spiritual body and domain martial skill. It could be said that he had pushed his combat strength to the peak. However, in front of Lu Ming, it couldn't even withstand a single blow. 9 dragons in the sky. Lu Ming took a step forward and his figure instantly appeared above Mo Jie's head. He took 9 consecutive steps and 9 dragons roared and danced in the air, flying toward Mo Jie. Get lost. Mo Jie roared furiously. His demonic body glowed and his domain covered his entire body. He threw out a palm and a palm print blasted on the 9 dragons, sending them flying. However, Lu Ming had already appeared in front of Mo Jie and threw out a punch. Bang! Mo Jie was sent flying and vomited blood. His chest was caved in. Defeated, Mo Jie was defeated. Everyone could see that if Lu Ming had not shown mercy, Mo Jie would have died. Everyone looked at Lu Ming in shock. Lu Ming's combat strength was too terrifying. Mo Jie, who had a medium earth spiritual body, was defeated by Lu Ming even though his cultivation was higher. He was easily defeated by Lu Ming. Could it be that Lu Ming had a high earth spiritual body? Many people's hearts trembled as they thought of this possibility. Impossible. Immediately, they shook their heads in their hearts. There were not many high earth spiritual bodies in the entire Kang state. Every one of them was a genius with unparalleled combat strength. They were invincible figures among the younger generation. How could Lu Ming have a high earth spiritual body? In fact, Lu Ming did not have a high earth spiritual body but a medium earth spiritual body. However, Lu Ming had gone through the world refining calamity bell and there was a trace of chaotic qi in his body. This made Lu Ming's physical body much stronger than others of the same level. Although his current spiritual body was a medium earth spiritual body, its power and strength were comparable to a high earth spiritual body. In addition, Lu Ming had broken through to the second level martial royal realm and his chaotic domain had broken through to the second level. His combat strength had greatly increased and he was much stronger than when he was in the Great Emperor Mystic Realm. Although the chaotic domain was difficult to cultivate and it was difficult to improve, the increase in power was terrifying with every breakthrough. Damn it! Mo Jie roared in his heart as he looked at Lu Ming with a gloomy expression. However, Lu Ming ignored him. He looked around and said, "Who else wants to fight?" The remaining youths of the Sky Universe Demon sect looked at each other with ghastly expressions. Even Mo Jie had been defeated. Who else could fight him? Mo Jie had a medium earth spiritual body and his combat strength was strong. It would not be easy for an average 4th level martial royal realm genius with an inferior earth spiritual body to defeat Mo Jie. However, Lu Ming had defeated him. Therefore, an average 4th level martial royal realm genius with an inferior earth spiritual body would not be able to defeat Lu Ming. Only a 4th level martial royal realm genius with a medium earth spiritual body would be able to defeat him. However, there were not many medium earth spiritual bodies and none of them were present. Moreover, many of the youth's cultivation had surpassed the 4th level martial royal realm and had reached the 5th or 6th level martial royal realm. If news of him bullying Lu Ming, a 2nd level martial emperor, with such a cultivation level, the younger generation of the Heavenly Universe Demon sect would become a laughingstock. For a moment, no one spoke. "Let me have a go at you." At this moment, a voice was heard. In the distance, a light flashed and a young figure appeared. "Senior brother Jin Yu, it's senior brother Jin Yu. Great, senior brother Jin Yu is going to fight. Victory is in our hands. Let's see how arrogant that kid is." Many people of the Sky Universe Demon sect were overjoyed when they saw the young man. "It's him." Lu Ming's eyes turned cold. This young man was the one who had attacked Lu Ming when he had first arrived at the mountain gate of the Sky Universe Demon sect. However, he had been interrupted by Liu Yu. This young man's cultivation was at the peak of the 4th level martial royal realm. Jin Yu looked at Lu Ming coldly and said, "Kid, you escaped before. It's the same for me to deal with you now." His voice was cold and arrogant, as if he was superior. His cultivation was at the peak of the 4th level martial royal realm and a terrifying pressure pressed down on Lu Ming. Lu Ming narrowed his eyes and the true essence in his body circulated wildly to resist Jin Yu's aura. Boom. You're tuning in to the Celestial War YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.